Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin.
Is doing what you have to do, even if you don't like doing it. But if that's the only thing you can do to make yourself successful, then that is the meaning of success.
Ikiwa wewe umeinukia katika Uislamu, shukuru sana na ujue ya kuwa hilo ni fadhila kubwa Mwenyezi Mungu amekufanyia. Je, wewe umeufanyia nini Uislamu?
At the same time, knowing how to evaluate myself with others, understanding who others are, understanding my relationship with others, that is who I know as self-discovery. That is what I know as discovering myself.
Ili uweze kuvuka hii marhala yako na hii khitwa na hii plan ulionayo katika maisha yako mpaka ufike katika grupu ya yes.
Na mimi tutakwenda haswa. Allahu Akbar. Mimi na baba yake tutakwenda kwa mzee. Hata tupige tutakufa kwa ajili yako sisi. Hai mushkila. Sabir.
Kitu kilichonifanya niulize hili swali ni kuwa huyu mtoto wa kike imefika to an extent, yani yuko tayari kukimbia pale nyumbani.
Reality, haya ndio mambo ya ukweli kabisa. Haya ndio mambo yapo. Na si huyo peke yake, ni wengi hapa. Mwataka niulize unyoshe mkono, ni wengi wako hapa. Lakini wewe umefanya subra.
Mimi nimekataa. Mpaka sasa nimeombea subiri.
Jamili, usiige filamu za Kihindi ya? Kule hakuna reality.
Bomu liko hapa. Kama haiwezekani, je, kuna mtu hapa yuko tayari kunioa? Sitaki mahari mengi.
Na wale mnaolialia uwezo si nini? Umefahamu? Fursa hii, golden chance, fursa saniha. Yote ambaye yuko tayari jina lake alete pale, alafu na jina lake tutalichukua, tutawakabidhi ta'alluful qulub.
Yusuf, ushapata ile pale moja. Shukrani. Shukrani. Bismillah.
Mwacha pande juu, pande mbele nini?
Bismillah. Bismillah.
Hebu tuwaomba. Kwanza mimi nafurahi mwanafunzi wangu Yasin, mwanafunzi wangu. Mimi namjua.
Mashaallah.
Kaa Sheikh. Yeye atakwenda tamuona, wakikubaliana mtatuita, tutawaozesha.
Swali la mwisho.
Na misk khitama wa khitamuhu misk. Wa fi dhalika
faliyakun.
Na mimi kuna ombi moja hapa. Simtaji nani, lakini amenongozea. Asema kama kuna mwanamke atakustiriwa lakini asijitokeze kwetu, hawaone ta'alluful qulub. Yeye yuko tayari, lakini sharti yake moja, sio kama itakuwa ni ngumu au si ngumu. Mwanamke awe ana pesa. Ndio mapendeleo yake yani.
Na kazi kubwa ambayo ta'alluful qulub inafanya ni kutoa nasaha kwa watu ambao wanataka kuoana ama watu ambao washaoana. Pia vile vile hata ukitaka kuoa labda na hujapata wa kumuoa, au wataka kuolewa na hujapata wa kukuoa, hujajua upate mke wa aina gani au mume wa aina gani, tembea ofisini, kuna procedures ambazo utafuata, utaweka notification yako. Kwa hivyo ikiwa mke ameweka notification na mume ameweka notification, tunaangalia kama wanaweza kuoana na tuna facilitate ile ndoa.
Apambana na adui yake, wasefu yadi, na upanga uko mkononi, sio kwenda kutafuta, uko hapa. Vita ainua yule bwana, anamwambia ashhadu an la ilaha illa Allah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah Usama bilisani halihi, mimi sikuweko siku hiyo, lakini kwa ulimi ulewa amwambia sasa, alimpa nao. Hiki kisa tu kilipofika kwa Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam, hal Mtume alimuunga mkono Usama bin Zaid au alimpinga? Waislamu labda hamjui, na mimi siamini kama hamjui. Mtume alimuunga mkono Usama au alimpinga? Kwa nini ampinge? Yeye alikuwa na udhur ya Rasulullah, vitani. Huyu mtu ni kafir hapo, mimi sasa nitakumuua iwafa. Wajua Mtume alimwambia nini? Afashaqaqta sadra, ulipasua kifua chake ukajua kuwa ile la ilaha illa Allah ilikuwa ya kweli au ya urongo?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما ليدخل المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ويكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وكان ذلك عند الله فوزا عظيما ويعذب المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات الظانين بالله ظن السوء عليهم دائرة السوء وغضب الله عليهم ولعنهم وأعد لهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عزيزا حكيما ليدخل المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ويكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وكان ذلك عند الله فوزا عظيما ويعذب المنافقين والمنافقات والمشركين والمشركات الظانين بالله ظن السوء عليهم دائرة السوء وغضب الله عليهم ولعنهم وأعد لهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عزيزا حكيما إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا لتؤمنوا بالله ورسوله وتعزروه وتوقروه وتعزروه وتوقروه وتسبحوه بكرة وأصيلا.
صدق الله العلي العظيم.
شكرا brother Khubayb. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Kwa majina naitwa Said Abubakar, ndio ni naibu mwenyekiti wa Focus Muslim Youth ambao we have partnered with Ta'aluf al-Qulub to organize this conference. So on behalf of Ta'aluf al-Qulub and Focus Muslim Youth, I welcome you all to our one-day youth seminar. The theme is facing reality and unlocking yourself. In brief, what I can say about our seminar today, or what to expect, is what we have come up and we thought about is to bring back the sunnah of getting our young ones married in good time. Yani, tutaka kuregesha sunna ya watu kuozeshwa mapema. Inshallah leo, kwa siku ya leo, tutajua umri wa watu kuozeshwa ama kuoa ni gani na ni mambo gani ambayo mtu afaa awe ameyatimiza ili aoe ama aolewe. Na alhamdulillah nimeona ni vijana wengi tuko hapa na madada zetu pia wako wengi, so inshallah tutategemea kwamba itatufungua fahamu zetu vizuri. Kwa nini tunasema hivi? Mwenyezi Mungu atusamehe kwa yote yanayofanyika. Ni kwamba mtu yuko tayari, nastaghfirullah, awe na mvulana ama msichana miaka 4 akiwa campus lakini asiolewe wala asioe. Kwa nini mtu uweze kusurvive na pressure ya kijana ama pressure ya msichana miaka 4 lakini kuoa mtu utaki? Ama mzazi wa mtu atakuwa ajua kuna mvulana wangu ana msichana fulani, msichana wangu ana mvulana fulani, lakini hana shida na hilo, muhimu tu isiwe ni ndoa. So inshallah kwa wale wazazi wameweza kuja na vijana sote tuko hapa, inshallah tunategemea kwa taufiki ya Allah itatufungua akili zetu. Mzungumzaji wetu wa kwanza si mwingine ni mzee wetu mashuhuri sana, Dr. Mujaheed. Jina ni Dr. Athman Mujaheed Bwana, popularly known as Dr. Mujaheed. Na yeye ni daktari ama kuna PhD in early childhood education ambayo alipata kwa McGraw University in US, Masters in Administration and Planning, Bachelors of Education in Islamic Studies, zote mbili in Osman Dan Fodio in Nigeria. He also has a postgraduate diploma in psychology, and I cannot mention everything about his academic life because I think it can go on and on and on. MashaAllah. He has worked with various boards actively in areas of conflict resolution and peace building. And this he has worked in Kenya and also abroad. He's a researcher, an author, trainer, and a motivational speaker, and also a director of Qura Senior Boys and Girls Schools in Malindi, and also Qura ECD College. His topic is confused and moderation. Ningependa kumkaribisha kwa haya maneno machache kwa sababu yeye mwenyewe pia hupenda kutumia maneno. Ewe mwalimu wangu nisikiza, mwanao nimechanganyikiwa. Chuoni sioni maana, nyumbani si wa maana. Nilipo sioni pa kuelekea, ila kwako kurudia. Ewe mwalimu wangu nijuza. Falyatafadhali.
Billahi minash shaitani rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in, amma ba'd. Baada ya kumshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala na kumtakia rehema na amani mtume wetu Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's indeed a very beautiful opportunity for someone of my age to enjoy the privilege of interacting with young people. It's beautiful because in life you can never reach the future without touching the past. And therefore, the past, which is the experience, is supposed to ignite your engine to continue living purposefully. And the future is the hope that propels your soul in order to remain on the track of positive things that you are doing with your life. Muhimu sana kwamba siku zilizopita ni siku ambazo zatakikana zikusukume kujua kwamba yaliyopita si ndwele, bali ni muhimu kuganga yale yanayokuja, na kufikiria siku zinazokuja zinakupa wewe uwezo wa kupambanua hasa ni lipi ambalo litakuchukua pale ulipo na likufikishe pale unapotaka kuenda. Life is not about where you come from, and absolutely is never about where you are at the moment. The most challenging force of life is where do you want to be tomorrow. And believe me, the best way of predicting one's future is always to create it yourself. I am more than convinced by now that every human being, whether young or old, they are all self-made. Kila mwanadamu, awe mzee ama awe kijana, ni kutokamana vile alivyo imesababishwa na vitendo alivyovifanya. I am very fond of always remembering what Sayyidina Ali radhiallahu anhu said. Very interesting. Sometimes it's very difficult to put this quote in psychology, sociology, or anthropology, or religious, or philosophy, theology, but it kind of inashikanisha mambo yote na kukufanya wewe mwanadamu uzingatie lile unalolifanya linatoka wapi. Sayyidina Ali anasema, be careful of what you think, because what you think affects the way you feel. Kuwa mwangalifu na fikra zako. Fikra zako zina interfere na hisia zako. Be careful of your feelings, because your feelings affects your actions. Kuwa mwangalifu na hisia zako, kwa sababu hisia zako zinachangia katika vitendo vyako. Be careful of your actions, because your actions contributes on your character building or character formation. Be careful of your character, because your character leads to your destiny. We are who we are because that is how we think we are. You become who you become in life as a result of the thoughts you entertain day and night throughout of your life. Success is never a destination. Success is a process of habituation that normally comes as a result of observation, imitation, repetition, and ultimately it becomes your habituation. That means, therefore, it is the little things that you do every day that ultimately will culminate and make you who you become in your life today and tomorrow. My dear young boys and girls, it's very important to understand that every game you play in this world has its own rules, and the living of life has also its own rule. And that's why I cannot ignore remembering a very interesting book with a very interesting title. If life is a game, then this is how to play it. And playing that life means you got to start somewhere. Lazima uanze mahali fulani. Whatever you do when you are young affects you when you become old. Whatever you plant when you are young is what you will harvest when you are old. Whatever process you put yourself through when you are young, the product and the outcome when you are old will be from that particular process. Today, ladies and gentlemen, the topic I have to share with you is confusion and moderation. I am quite sure that majority of you are wondering, what is this confusion that today we have to indulge in discussing, and what is this moderation that will ultimately massage, clear, and get rid of this confusion so that you live life of revivalism and then you become who you're supposed to be and who you are meant to be. It's so beautiful when one realizes that what I'm doing today will ultimately take me where I want to be tomorrow. But there is no way you can be able to live purposeful today if you're not sure of where you want to be tomorrow. You can never hit a goal that you cannot see, and you cannot see a goal which you don't have. At the end of the day, if you want to make things which are hard easy, and things that are vague clear, you must begin by asking yourself, where am I heading to? What is it that if it is to happen in my life will make me the happiest man in life, or will make me the happiest woman in life? What is it, if at all, is to decorate me and give me the medals of honor as a grown-up? What is it that will ultimately make me acquire the 4 important L's of life? And when I say the L's of life, I mean the L of living, not surviving, and the L of learning away from ignorance, and the L of loving, not hate, and the L of living legacy and not to be forgotten. How many more years you're going to live after you have died? Some of us die and get forgotten immediately we are buried. But some of us, though we die, we continue living to eternity. So where are you seriously going to? To me, my dear sisters and brothers, daughters and sons, I always tell people you can never call yourself a youth if you are satisfied with who you are at the moment. The moment a human being reaches a level of satisfaction, that human being is dead. Because in life, there is nothing like perfection. You can always become better and better until your life comes to a stop. There is always a room for improvement. And therefore, as a young person, why? You got to yearn for more. You got always to imagine that you will come better and better every day. But you become only better if you do things that are better. You become the best if what you are doing is the best. You become the best if what you think is the best. You become the best if the people around you are the best. You become the best if the books you're reading are the best. You become the best if the grades you're getting are the best. You become the best if the career you are pursuing is the best. And after that, then you will be able to rest. No resting without becoming the best. When you rest before becoming the best, you end up suffering from the stress. And at the end of the day, what will remain is all the rest will do what? Will never see you as a person who has reached the zest. And at the end of it, you will become the least. So it's very crucial for us to understand that. Kwamba kila wakati mwanadamu, kama yeye ni mtoto, kama yeye ni mchanga, kama yeye ni kijana, kama yeye ni msichana, awe anazingatia jinsi ya kujijenga zaidi na zaidi. As I was thinking of making this presentation, I decided to put my thoughts in a poem so that it becomes easier for me to deliver it in a very smooth, faster, and more authentic way. And also to become easy for you to listen. Because always the human brain enjoys listening to things which are melodious, things which are rhythmical, things that have a synonym of repetition in it. And I said this: youth is not a time of life. It is a state of mind. It is not a matter of rosy cheeks, red lips, and supple knees. It is a matter of will, a quality of imagination, a vigor of the emotion. It is the freshness of the deep spring of life. Youth means temperamental predominance of courage over timidity, of the appetite for adventure over the love for ease. This is often does exist in a man or a woman of 60 more than a boy or a girl of 20. Nobody grows old merely by a number of years. We grow old by distracting our ideals. Years may wrinkle the skin, but to give up enthusiasm and excitement of life wrinkles the soul. Worry, fear, self-destruction bores the heart and turns the spring back to dust. Whether 60 or 16, there is in every human being heart that lures of wonder, the unfailing childlike appetite of what is next, and the joy of the game of living. In the center of your heart and my heart, there is a wireless station. So long as it receives messages of beauty, hopes, cheer, courage, power from men and from the infinite, so long as you are young, when the aerials are down and your spirit is covered with snows of cynicism and the ice of pessimism, then you are grown old, even if you are at the age of 15. But as long as your aerials are up to catch waves of optimism, there is hope you may die young, even at the age of 80. My dear brothers and sisters, this is what it means to be a young person. Someone who is yearning for more, someone who is optimistic, someone who is always looking for an opportunity to unleash their hidden potential, someone who is very much time conscious, understanding that it is almost, and it is of course impossible for someone to remain young forever. Where you are, we were also there. But ask yourself, where I'm standing today, how many of you will reach here? But where you are, I was also there. One time I was also 15. One time I was also 20. One time I was also 25. One time I was also a student. But today I am who I am. Why? Because whatever I chose to do with my life were the things that contributed in me becoming who I am today. And for you, if you want to reach where I am today, then you have absolutely no choice but to make sure whatever you are doing at the moment is adding up in that number, in that momentum. They say M plus M will always give you M. It is M triple. When you know the meaning of who you are, what you do, and where you are, and you keep on doing self-motivation, at the end of the day you maintain the momentum. You never get tired. You don't quit because you're tired. You only quit because you've achieved what you want to achieve in life. Very important to understand at the end of the day, you are young, you are a youth, because the habits that describes you are the habits of a young person. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, let me now dwell into this confusion and moderation that I have to kind of demystify so that you can be able to understand and get convinced that it was worthwhile for you to decide to invest this Sunday of the 25th of February to come here and listen to whatever all of us have to share with one another. Confused and moderation. My understanding tells me of the little psychology that I have done in formal setups. For you to be a confused individual, Because this is now the phrase that every other elderly person, every other educated person, every other da'i, every other person who cares for the young people, they say our ummah is completely confused. The young people of today are described as millennial generation. The generation that unfortunately is wavering without understanding where is it that they are taking themselves to. Now for you to be a confused young person, one, see, you must be either a corrupted individual, you must be a young person who contradicts themselves, they don't walk their talk. It must be a young person who can easily compromise, give up to pressure of different nature, including peer pressure. It is a young person who compares himself and herself with other people. It is a young person who is always criticizing other people and thinking that themselves, they are almost perfect. You become a confused individual if you do not have an objective for your life. If you don't know what you're supposed to do with your life. They say the meaning of living is living a purposeful life. Understanding the reason why you came this way. And how will people remember you after you are gone? Understanding that purpose, living a purposeful life. And then an obscured individual, an individual who is always opposing what others are saying, others are doing, and others are showing him where to go. You become a confused individual if you are always negative and you nullify everything that is positive. You become a confused individual because you indulge in forgetfulness. You become too forgetful, including forgetting your own self without knowing who you truly are. Where are your roots? Where did you come from? Where is your beginning? Because a tree that has rotten roots will never survive for too long. So understanding where you come from becomes very fundamental, and forgetting where you come from becomes very destructive. You are a confused individual because you are not attentive. You are unattentive and you indulge in utopia. That is to say, you have no focus. You are a confused individual if you are not secured in your life. You indulge so much on your physical appearance than your internal structure. And believe me, my conviction is, if you take care of your software, the hardware becomes pure. Because it is the software that drives the hardware. Take care of the mind, take care of the body, of the soul and the heart, the body remains young forever. You corrupt the mind, you corrupt the soul, even if you're 20, you are already old. Because the inside of you is rotten, the outside of you can never remain fresh. You are a confused individual because you lack enthusiasm, you lack excitement, and you have no energy. You are always focusing on entertainment. You are all a confused individual if you have a divided attention and you are always indulging in distraction. Believe me, my dear sons and daughters, they say those who are learned more than you and me, a strong and a positive self-image to the best possible preparation makes life very successful. A strong and a positive self-image to the best possible preparation makes you enjoy a very successful life. What you think of yourself is much more important than what people think of you. You should never, at any moment of your life, allow the description of other people to become your reality. It's not what they say, it's about what you say. Therefore, what is it that is confusing us at the moment as young people? A number of people who have done psychological studies on adolescents and young people, understanding how the modern generation is growing and the challenges that are facing them, they've come up basically for today 5-6 things which are more crucial than other things. The list is too long. Number one thing is identity crisis. Poor self-image. Feeling that you should have been more beautiful than you are. You should have been more handsome than you are. You should have been born in a different family than the family you are born in now. You should have been lighter than you are. You should have had longer hairs than you have. You should have been taller than you are. I can assure you I don't have that problem. Because every time I walk, I always imagine I'm the tallest person on earth. The only problem comes when I stand next to a tall person. Then I realize, oh my God, what's happening? But when I'm alone, I never realize. I don't really pay attention to my height. So that identity crisis, wanting to be a modern girl, a modern boy, at the same time you want to remain a good Muslim. Really a problem. Because Islam by itself is a civilization. Islam by itself is a culture. Now you can never combine two civilizations. There will always be a conflict. You can never combine the Western civilization and the Islamic civilization and expect that you'll get perfection. It's not possible. You got to choose. So that to avoid the identity crisis, you got to accept who you are, live as who you are, and be proud of who you are. At the end of the day, you are the Muslim. You are the best. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, Kuntum khayra ummatin tukhrijat linnas. You are the best. So why are you doubting yourself that we are not the best? Because by merely looking at celebrities on a screen, that is a camouflage. In reality, they don't even look the way you see them on that screen. When you meet them in the real situation, circumstances, you might be more beautiful, more handsome than them. But when they appear on that screen, there is a lot of massaging and a lot of camouflaging and the camera tricks, and therefore you kind of get mesmerized. How I wish I could be like her. How I wish I could be like him. And then in the struggle, you end up making yourself become even worse than you should have been. The second thing, in the interest of time, is the venomous media, which sometimes I get a feeling it is deliberately kind of exaggerated to brainwash us as Muslims. Because in our own operations, we are like more firm, stronger, more connected to our faith than any other person. Now, how do you remove somebody from that focus, from that concentration? There must be something that will keep that person busy to an extent that he or she will even forget to pray. Because there's someone you're chatting with. There is a movie you are watching. There is a program you don't want to miss. There is this and that and this and that. And at the end of the day, it's like you're mixed up, bombarded by different propaganda through the media. And particularly the social media. Why the social media? Because it is instantaneous. It is user generated. And it is highly private. And therefore, the moment you are like sunk into that media, becomes difficult to emerge and move out of it. Number 3, sons and daughters, is inferiority complex. Feeling that as a Muslim, you are not as important as any other person. Believe me, I always tell my students, you know what? No one can make you feel small without you giving them permission. No one can make you feel inferior until you give them the permission to do so. You go to indulge in believing that you, the way you are, you, the way you are born, you, the way you are brought up, you, with the structure that around you, you are the best. No one is like you. And this is a biological phenomenon. None of us is identical to another person. We are all different, we are all special in our own way, and we are all unique in our own styles. And therefore, comparing yourself with another person is the greatest insult of life. Because you cannot be somebody else. You got to be you. And becoming you is sweeter than imagining you are somebody else. Another factor is ideological and educational warfare. It's sad. It's sad because statistics are really shocking that the number of the youth, the Muslim youth, the number of Muslim young generation who understand their religion is not more than 2%. Each and every one of us is busy struggling to become a medical doctor. Each and every one of us is busy struggling to become an engineer. Each and every one of us is busy struggling to become a pilot. Each and every one of us is busy struggling to become a journalist, but none of us is struggling to become an Islamic scholar. None of us. And according to the teachings of Islam, there are two types of knowledge, two branches of knowledge. One is superior to the other. We have a category of knowledge which is known as Fard al-Ain, personal, obligatory knowledge. That means everyone, you and me, must acquire, must. Take note of the word must. Is an obligation, not a matter of choice. It's a must. It's for us. It's like prayer. It's like fasting. It's a must. This knowledge is the knowledge of understanding who created you. It's the knowledge of the deen. It's called Fard al-Ain. Ulum al-Ruhiyya is that knowledge that will improve who you are from inside. That knowledge for you and me, it's obligatory. We have no choice. No matter how busy you are, no matter what you are studying. Sometimes I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for ultimately making me to go and study in Nigeria. Because in the northern Nigeria, no matter what you are studying, you must take Islamic units. Whether you are studying law, whether you're studying medicine, whether you're studying education like me, at the end of the day, half of your semester units must be from Islamic Studies department. And there is no way you will graduate if you have not memorized at least 3 juzus. No degree for you. You can never claim to be a teacher. You can never claim to be an Islamic lawyer. You can never claim to be an Islamic doctor when you don't understand your own religion. So you must first endure to understand the Fard al-Ain knowledge. Then now, give time to Fard al-Kifaya. The knowledge that will make some of us become doctors. Some of us become teachers. Some of us become engineers. Ladies and gentlemen, for you to become holistic, comprehensive, for you to become a total human being, for you to become an independent individual and enjoy the freedom of living, you must acquire 3 levels of education. The first level of education is ulum al-ruhiyya, the knowledge that improves your soul, constructs your soul, kind of directs your soul where it's supposed to go. And the second level of knowledge is ulum al-aqliya, the knowledge that will purify your thoughts, cognitive part of you, the mental part of you, the mind that will guide you and reason with you. And the last part is ulumul jasmaniya, the knowledge that will improve your health and your physical well-being. So it's very important, no matter how young, no matter how old, it's never late for anyone to strive, to struggle, to understand the basic concept of your own religion as you are struggling to become that person who will be very important and useful in his own life, the life of his family, and the life of his community. Another thing that confuses us is the so-called peer pressure. My psychology tells me when children are between the age of 3 plus the age of 12, their major concentration and focus is to please their parents. Whatever you do when you are in nursery school, whatever you do when you are in primary school, is always to please your parents and your teachers. When you get many rights, you show your parents. When you get 90%, you show your teacher, you show your father, you show your mother. The first 15, 12 years of our lives is focused on us pleasing our parents. But after